Our body language or our non-verbal communication is a direct reflection of how our mental state is, and it governs over how other people think about us and feel about us.
Our question really was, do our nonverbals govern how we think and feel about ourselves? There's some evidence that they do.
Now, we've always known about the relation between how our mental state affects our body language, but social scientists have been curious to find out, can our body language affect our mental state? Turns out it can, and that's exactly what we're going to learn in this video. We're going to learn how to influence our mental state using our body language, why fake it till you make it works, understand what dominance behavior is and how to incorporate it in our lives, body proxemics, and also why all of this works. So with that, let's start today's video. Now, before we get into it, I want to take a moment and talk about why I will talk about why this works, because I really want you to get into a habit of asking the question of why something works. See, the problem is our education system has inhibited us from asking questions, especially why, because the teacher to student ratio was never up to the mark, and if too many students ask questions, the teacher will never be able to finish the academic curriculum that's been allotted to her to complete in a certain amount of time. And that's exactly why when we ask questions, why does this work, ma'am? Aisa hi hota hai. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because once you try and actually get into the habit of asking why, your brain first of all starts looking for solutions instantly, and that's exactly what we want. Second, when you understand why something works, then you truly understand it. And once you truly understand it, you can replicate that model and apply it to a larger domain, which is exactly what we want. So in this video, not only will we talk about what to do, but we will also talk about why it works. And I want you to get in a habit of expecting the same whenever you're trying to learn something, and try and really get to the root of it and understand why something works. So on this channel, you'll always find what to do and also why it works. So make sure you subscribe, and with that, let's get into the video. Now, there are two types of body languages or non-verbal communications: active and passive. When it comes to active non-verbal communication, we use our body deliberately to get a point across or to communicate. For example, hi, bye, okay, excellent, good, thumbs up, right? All of these are active non-verbal communication cues which we use to actively engage with someone else. And the other one is passive. And passive non-verbal communication is exactly what is the reflection of what goes in our mind. Now, there are a lot of things that we do subliminally that we aren't really aware of. And the correlation that these things that we do have is the different mental state. For example, if we're feeling sad, we do something. If we're feeling happy, we do something. If we're feeling powerful, we do something. And if we feel threatened, we do something. Now, I'm going to go over each of those four things that we do when we are feeling a certain emotion, but let me help you understand. Okay, for instance, one of the most common one is the crossed arms, right? But what does this crossed arm actually mean? What is the mental state that it is associated with? And before I explain that and move on to actually explaining why, like different emotions have different body language and non-verbal communication cues to them, I want you to watch these prank videos so that when I explain it, it's easier to understand. So in the blast prank, we saw an immediate reaction of doing this, right? And let's see another prank video. And in the Mortal Kombat prank, that person literally went like, why does this happen? So what we see in those two prank videos is actually reflexes, and they're a part of evolutionary biology. But what are those two reflexes that we just saw trying to protect? For example, a blast behind you, you're trying to protect the nape of your neck. Why? Because while we were evolving, what was something that could come from behind you? Probably a loud noise, that's a growl of a tiger or something, and they will try to go for your neck, and you were trying to protect it subliminally, right? The other example, when an attack and threat came from the front, you are again trying to protect your most vulnerable parts: chest, torso, stomach, right? Because if any of those things are damaged, you cannot survive. And that's exactly why we do things subliminally. And now that we have an understanding of things that we do subliminally and their implications, right, now we can actually try and break things down and try to understand why certain behaviors have certain reactions subliminally and certain non-verbal communications that we do and things that we do subliminally, and then we can really try and revamp our entire body language to affect our mental state. So let's go. So whenever we feel threatened, we cross our arms, and that is something that we're doing because we perceive threats. See, this is just my 2 cents, but the thing is that I really don't think that our subconscious and our brain can actually process the difference between a physical threat and a verbal threat. A threat is a threat, and whenever you perceive a threat, that's exactly what your body does. So when you are in a heated debate, you can, or like when you're observing 2 people debating about something that's really intense and everything, you can totally see and observe all of these things happening, and like we're not aware of them, we're just doing them subliminally. Let's take another relatable example. When we're watching a horror movie, when we start the movie as like, okay, we're watching a horror movie, and then like in the middle of scary scenes, we literally become all curled up with like a pillow in our like in our hands and everything. But like again, we're trying to protect our vulnerable parts. Same thing also happens when we're feeling cold. We also cross our arms and like we curl up. Why? Because again, we're trying to keep this region as warm as we can. And also when we're extremely sad, we roll up and we become a ball. Literally, I'll probably insert a picture here. And like again, we're trying to like protect our most vulnerable areas, and it's something that's just a part of who we are. It's evolutionary biology. It's not something that has been conditioned, and I will talk more about it just in a while. But like it is literally a part of who we are. It is a part of our DNA. We are not consciously doing these things. These are not social conditioning examples. They are just with you all the time, right? So what's the opposite of feeling threatened? Feeling powerful, right? And what do you think happens when we're feeling powerful? The exact opposite. We start becoming more expansive, and we start demonstrating our most vulnerable areas out to the world, saying that like, come at me, bro, right? And like, so this is just my 2 cents again. I'm very hypothesizing, but I think what unconscious thinks is, and how a brain works is that, okay, no threats perceived. This is if we're doing it subliminally. But if we are doing this, then our brain starts thinking, okay, like if this person is doing this, probably no threats, it's fine, we can like relax and everything. And that's how things work. And the reason why I said a lot of it is not social conditioning, and it's actually a part of our biology and DNA, is scientists conducted experiments with individuals that were blind by birth, right? And they were demonstrating all of these non-verbal cues whenever they were feeling a certain feeling, regardless of them having seen someone else do it, right? So like a lot of popular individuals, and a popular argument is that it's social conditioning, but it's not social conditioning. It's proved. It's a part of who you are. When blind people feel happy, they smile, just like us. When they feel pride and joy and they have won a competition, they do this. And that's exactly what everybody does. And like some of the other examples of us feeling extreme pride is, right, even our own captain was seen doing this, like whenever something great happens. So all of these things are done, and they reflect a certain mental state. The thing is, this is where things get interesting. So let's conduct our own social experiment, and let's see if this actually works. I'm not sure if you are, like, however body language you have right now, I want you to become expansive, and it'll give you the best results if you can actually do this. What I want you to do is, I want you to stand up, relax your shoulders, and then do the emotion of pride. And I just want you to imagine something that you have won or something that you're wanting to achieve, and then just start imagining it and start imagining a situation where you're actually being rewarded and actually being applauded for doing in all the hard work and putting in all the hard work. And I want you to do this for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, and I want you to see the change in you. So pause this video and go out and do this. You can do it wherever, you can do it in your bedroom, you can do it in the bathroom, wherever, but try and do this. So how does it feel? Did you actually do it? Well, trust me, it works. It actually puts you in a powerful state of mind and feeling, and trust me, you instantaneously start performing better because of being in that powerful state, because you start perceiving things around you in a very different sense for a moment. The problem with this thing is though that it's not something that's going to give you a long-term impact. So you'll have to redo it and actually use that feeling and actually multiply that feeling by doing the things that you need to do to get you to your goals. Because sure, this works, but it will only amplify it if you are putting in the work as well. So make sure that this becomes your superpower in your arsenal, because you can actively influence your mental state by using the right non-verbal cues. And for the curious minds, this is consistent throughout animal kingdom as well. Animals also follow similar practices because it's also imbibed in their DNA. They become more expansive when they are in a feeling of powerful, when they are in a state of power, and when they're not in a state of power, they become and they shrink down, right? So your goal starting today is to be as expansive as you can be. Get in the middle of the room, be more expansive, make sure that you're doing all the power poses. I'll also include a number of power poses right after this. And then I also encourage you to watch the TED Talk by Amy Cuddy. I'll also link it in the description down below. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you leave a comment and document your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure you share it with 3 or 4 of your friends. It will really help us. And make sure you like the video. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to our channel and make sure you hit that bell icon, because we are dedicated towards bringing you the best quality educational videos you guys deserve. And we will not only tell you what to do, we will also tell you why it works, to make sure that you get that holistic growth that you deserve. And this is Reved India. Reved is short for Revolutionized Education. Signing off, and this is Chai. You can also follow me on Instagram, by the way. I totally forget to mention that every time. But yeah, my username is Chaitanya, and we will see you next time.